If you are thinking about leaving the Lord, do not do so. And I'm going to tell you why. Let's get into it. So Solomon was a rich man. Not only was he rich, he was the wisest man that ever lived. Ever before him, ever after him. What did he say basically toward the end of his life? In Ecclesiastes 12 verse 13 and 14, this is what he said. Let us hear the whole conclusion of the matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good, whether it be evil. So Solomon tasted of the sins of the world. He had many wives, he had all the riches, he had everything to his disposal. And Solomon believed all that he experienced, all that he tasted did not compare to glorifying God and fearing him. A lot of times I've heard people say, oh, Noah, when he was on the ark must have smelled good, you know, even the Lord had allowed some AC to be on the ark. I completely think of it differently. When I read the Bible, a lot of prophets, a lot of people who actually worship the true and living God, they faced a lot of challenges. They were imprisoned, they were beaten, they were ridiculed by the population, and that brought me to think that the ark might have smelled bad with all the animals pooing on it. That ark might have been smelling bad, not the most comfortable place, because you know you want to be outside in sunshine walking around. And I know for me, when it rains, I get gloomy and I just don't like the wet weather, and it's just raining and I'm not in the best of moods. And I feel like Noah and his family went through that. Not only that, when the rain stopped, they couldn't get out the ark. Still, there was flooding outside, there was a lot of water. They just could not get out the ark, so they were stuck on the ark. Nothing like when you want to do something and you can't do it. You want to go on dry land, you want to continue your life and you can't. So I'm sure, even though they were trusting in God, even though they were holding on to him, that was not the most pleasant situation, that was not the choicest situation. However, being on the ark was the safest place for them. There was nowhere else that they should have been. They should have been right there on the ark, okay? Stay on the ark. It's stinky. Yes, hypocrites dip on the ark. It's hard to be in this ark. The animals are making noise and it smells bad, but this is where you should be, right? With the Lord in the church. Going out there, you are at risk of drowning, right? And when you drown and you're dead, hell, because you don't have a chance now to make it right with God, because you stepped out of him. You don't have his protection anymore. So stay on the ark. When I think of Ruth, now this is somebody who came out of the world. She met God through her mother-in-law and her husband and the family she married into, and she was like, no, I'm not gonna leave this. She defied tradition, because tradition was if your husband died, you go back to your father's house, see if you can get somebody else to marry, even though it's hard, because when somebody's a widow, they are seen as condemned and nobody else usually wants to marry them if that person doesn't have a next of kin, and that's the culture back then. However, it can be seen that Ruth held on to her mother-in-law even though it was difficult, but she held on to her faith. And what happened? Ruth was faithful and God basically rewarded her tenfold. She was married to somebody who could take care of her and her mother-in-law. She had a son, she had a child, so she was repaid tenfold. Back in those days, to have a son was like top tier. The lady said to Naomi, this daughter-in-law of yours is better than if you had 7 sons. So yeah, when you stay with God, he will repay you tenfold. Maybe not on this earth. And I'm telling you, when I'm going through a rough time, I hold on to God. I remember when I was going through my miscarriage, I've spoken about that before, how I held on to him and I knew he was there for me. I could feel his presence. Even though a bad thing just happened to me, I still held on to him. I remember when I was at a company that sold printers, and I said, Lord, if you don't want me to be here, fire me. I got fired. And I'm telling you, I was doing my exams at the time, and because I had made some sales, the commission from the sales were still coming in. While I was not working and going to do my exams, I was still being paid. Almost every month I was still getting money to go to school, to complete my exams. Who could that be but God? Even in hard times, after being fired, still. And then I have a friend, hey Trish, she was there and she was ensuring that I got that commission. So God had her in that place. I'm telling you, it was such a blessing, and I can see God's hand. Looking back, they said hindsight is 20/20. Trust me, when you hold on to God and you look back, you see his hand. It's not Testimony Thursday, so I'm not gonna sit here and give you tens of millions of testimonies of how God has been there for me. But I'm telling you, young people, middle age, whatever age you are, do not leave the Lord. Stay with him. That if you are experiencing any traumatic experience that's making you doubt God, any mental health issues, depression, anxiety, any issues in your life, any illness of any family member that's making you say, God, are you real? Are you there? If you're experiencing bereavement and asking the question, is living life worthwhile? Because it's so hard right now. I'm telling you, I've been there where I know it's just the hardest, but I thought about it and I said, what am I gonna do? I have to hold on to God. Like, what else is the option? Give up or hold on? No, I wanna live. I wanna fight to live. If you are experiencing any of these, hold on. If you encounter people in the religion, in your church, that don't practice what they preach and it discourages you, don't look on them, look on Jesus. You didn't come to church for people. Okay, maybe you came to church for people, but I'm going to tell you, your main reason to stay is Jesus. Do not look at them. Put on your blinders. Keep your eyes on Jesus. If you are experiencing or have experienced any sort of abuse or any sort of discrimination from any church leader or anybody in position, it's hard, it's not easy, but you came for Jesus. Jesus also experienced these things. Jesus was killed, and by the church. Hello, these were the Pharisees, the elders, the priests. These were the people who wanted to kill Jesus. So remember, we're gonna bear his cross too. Do not be discouraged. Those that wait upon the Lord will renew their strength. They will mount up on wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. It's in the waiting. Yes, it's hard now, but just wait. He will come through, and I'm telling you, he may not come through in this life, but it may be the life to come. Still hold on. If just right now you're questioning your faith and your values may be changing, I don't know what you're going through. I'm telling you, this is the place to be. With the Lord, in the arms of Jesus, is the place to be. Hold on. Sometimes the devil brings strange doctrines to us, strange beliefs to us, and then we start to question, are the teachings of the Bible true? Are they ringing true to me? Listen to me. Hold on. Have faith. You won't know every single thing, but have faith. God will come through for you. I promise you, he will come through. And that's my encouragement. Do not let go. You will not agree with every single person you in the church, but you didn't come for them. You came for Jesus. Your relationship with him is what matters. See, I'm looking straight at you. Your relationship with him is what matters. In another video of mine, I'm going to talk about toxic Christian traits that many Christians express that push other people out of the church, because these things must be addressed. But right now I'm talking to those who have left, who are feeling like they should leave. Come back home and stay. This is where you should be. So my advice to you is to hold on to your faith. Do your prayer journaling. Pray and talk to God. Find a community of people. And sometimes it's just one person that you're like-minded with, that you can share. They can pray with you and for you. Sometimes it's not the whole church. Don't look for this big group. It may just be one or two people that you really realize that you mesh with them and you have the same belief and values. So definitely read and meditate on his word and sing his praises. I have found when times are hard for me and I sing his praises and I sing my Christian songs, I'm telling you, it just goes away. It just goes away. Right now, a song that I'm hooked on is In Jesus' Name. And I'm going to put that in the description below for anybody who wants to be encouraged. And the chorus of this song goes, I pray for your healing, that circumstances would change. I pray that the fear inside would flee in Jesus' name. I pray that a breakthrough would happen today. I pray miracles over your life in Jesus' name, in Jesus' name. I pray for all those things over you, but stay with him. See you at my next video.